I've got to stop raising my voice. So basically, me yelling at my kids is a major trigger for them. Me getting yelled at is a trigger for me. This is one of those behavior patterns that's very, very hard to break. I was yelled at growing up. I was actually spanked. And when my kids were younger, I used to like spank them, but as they got older, I actually stopped doing it. I felt like it just caused more trauma and made them violent, and that they had the wherewithal to be able to comprehend the concepts that were behind the behavior corrections, i.e., I could just have a conversation with them and hold them accountable, and that would be enough. Somewhere along the line, that physical stuff just stopped. It stopped being a thing. Like that's just not a way that I believe it is a proper way to raise or train anything. I don't think you should hit any person or animal. I just don't think that's the proper way to get someone to learn. It makes them violent, honestly, because when you get older, you cannot be programmed to believe that violence and not communication is the solution to your problems. So, but I gotta find a way to stop raising my voice to my kids. So now, becoming a conscious parent, right? Non reactivity and staying fully conscious in the moment. That's the only way I'm gonna be able to do it. So, this is gonna take some restructuring of my entire life, honestly. What it's gonna require is for me to ground myself immediately when I wake up. I need to already be in the mind state where I'm not worrying about yesterday or focusing on tomorrow. I'm in the moment so that when I do have an interaction that may start to get a little, there's friction, I know how to handle it, and I'm not raising my voice at my kids when they make a mistake, because ultimately that's what it is. If they don't do something, it's not a personal attack. They really just don't remember a lot of times. And it took me a long time to realize that. They have a set of standards for how they're supposed to keep the house and all of that. So if something doesn't get done and it's their responsibility, I'm thinking, okay, they're being disrespectful and defiant, but really it's just they're in their head and they've got their own stuff going on, and it got missed, which is normal. It's not like I don't miss things. I wouldn't really be aware of that if I didn't have my family to mirror that back to me. See, I'm in the era of, it's not a matter of them obeying me or showing me respect. I just want them to pull their weight and to think. I want them to use their minds. I want them to be mindful. So pointing it back at me, because remember I said if I'm pointing a finger at them, there's a finger pointing back at me, so I must be doing the same thing if I can see it in them. If I want them to be more aware, then I need to be more aware of my tone of voice and how I communicate with people, because that is a huge issue with me. It's even in my chart. I have to learn how to remain calm, control my emotions, and speak to people in an empathetic, compassionate, stern way. That is the best way. I cannot react with my female brain. I cannot respond with my male brain. I need to combine the two energies and be stoic and firm, but calm, and not involve emotion in it. Like, I don't need to get upset. Like, what are you getting upset about? Like, you're taking it personally. This has nothing to do with your kid. You need to chill out and be the parent, be the leader, keep your shit together, and respond appropriately. Because the point is, you don't want to show them that you're upset. You want to impart knowledge into them. You want them to learn the lesson. They're not learning the lesson. They're just learning your triggers. They're learning how to upset you. They're learning that you have no control. And I think that will translate to them not trusting me. If I can't even control my temper, then how can I be a responsible person overall? Because if they can't trust me with their emotions, then how can they trust me with anything else? So I'm really hearing them now, and what they're saying, that I could have prevented every argument that happens between us. Because what I'm hearing is once I raise my voice, it triggers them, and now we're in an argument. So had I not done that, it wouldn't happen. And when I heard that, all I could hear was them not taking accountability for their actions, and all I heard was them blaming me. But when I really sat back and ran it through my head, because that's what I do, I'm not gonna have my child telling me I'm doing something and just be like, no, I didn't, and go in my room and that's just that. No, I'm gonna ruminate over that shit until I figure it out. Like, I'm gonna break it down, because if they're saying it over and over again, then obviously I'm doing it. And it's not like I have another adult or partner here to be like, yo, you need to chill. I need to listen to them. They have, like, I need to listen to them. So I really had to run it back and go and play each situation over in my head and try to find that point of where it got out of hand. At what point did it get out of hand? And it really was always me being too aggressive, because I guess I just got deep-seated issues with being disrespected, especially by males and males in this family, i.e. their father. And, you know, I always, I guess, have a defensive nature, always on defense. And those issues are not my children's to have to deal with. So thank God that they are my mirrors, that I can truly see myself and what I need to change. Because I don't want to hurt them. And I genuinely want to understand my flaws so that I can fix them. So that's my plan. I always come up with a plan of attack. When I find out that I have a problem, I figure out multiple solutions. Like, I can attack it this way, this way, this way. If I don't have enough information, I do research and I see what the most successful people in the world have done to fix that problem. And then I take pieces, I garner from here, 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 and then I add my own information, because I have a specific problem that I'm trying to solve. So I'm going to take what everybody else did that was successful, and then I'm going to tweak it so that it works for me the best. And then that's my action plan. So in order to not react when my kids make a mistake, I'm going to prep by already being grounded in the moment. So I'm not taken off guard, and I'm not just like, what type, just react. And also, I'm going to utilize taking a deep breath to calm my nervous system and give me a second to think and be more conscious of what I'm saying and what's actually going on. And the other thing that I'm going to do is to start to train myself to take a moment before I respond to anything, and not have such a knee-jerk reaction. Like, really, really take the time to contemplate, like a king. When the king has his subjects come, or what, they're not disciples, whatever, his court, the people that are next to him that make suggestions, a power move is not to immediately respond. He's going to go back to his chambers and he's going to think about it. Or just like a judge, you don't get the judgment immediately. He has to go back and really think about it. So silence. I need to train myself to be silent when I'm triggered. That should be my first response. Silence. Don't say anything. Because at my core, I never want to look like a fool. When I'm gone, I want people to look back at my work, at my pictures, at my art, and know that I was not a joke, that I wasn't something to be played with, that I did not take life as a game, and that I did not come to play, and that I took care of business. So I never want to look the fool. That's not the legacy that I want to leave. That's why I used to never smile in pictures, because I didn't want to be taken as a joke after I passed. I wanted to be taken seriously. You know what I'm saying? You don't see Da Vinci geeking in no pictures. That man's stoic, you know, respectable. So I'm feeling very positive about this. It's gonna be challenging because I know there's gonna be a day where I get up. You know, you have those days where you're just like off. Maybe you have an appointment, so you can't do your normal routine. Just it's normal life stuff. Sometimes your routine doesn't get to happen the way that you want it to, and I'm gonna be caught off guard. So I'm wondering how I'm going to handle that. But this is my main focus. I try to work on one thing at a time. So this is going to be my major focus as far as the work that I'm doing with my family. We've already worked on communication. This is like, I guess, like chapter 2 under communication, because before we worked on setting boundaries and respecting boundaries, listening, began this whole communication working series. And so now what we're doing is not raising our voices to each other. And I'm actually feeling very confident about it because we work on everything as a group. It's easier to move as a unit. It's very hard to do things on your own when you're trying to change. You don't have the support of your whole family, which is why we cut most of our family off. They didn't want to cooperate. They didn't want to stick to the plan. They didn't want to work together. They didn't want to change. They didn't feel like they needed to change. So I don't know about you, but I'm in superhero training. I'm training my body, my mind. I want a clean spirit. I do not want to be reincarnated here. I want to elevate into a higher level being. Like, I'm here to acquire as much knowledge as possible. That's it. Physically strong, spiritually strong, mentally strong, and see how far I can go. Because I've lived my whole life believing that I wasn't good enough because that's what was fed into me. And it took me so low to the place where I lost my life. I've actually died and come back. And so is my daughter. I'll tell you that story one day. But yeah, I actually died. And I'm here now. And that's a freaking miracle. And I'm going to take full advantage of this second chance that I have by being the best that I could possibly be. But that has to start with being real with myself about things that need to change. And I can't go around yelling at my kids if I want to be a good leader. So that's what we're working on. And I'm feeling very good about it. I appreciate you spending time with me. Do you work on things as a group in your family? Do you all have issues with communication? Do you raise your voice to your kids? Do you feel like you're in a space where you would be able to make the proper changes to maybe stop raising your voice to your kids? Like, if you didn't yell at them, do you feel like they would listen more? Is yelling at them even working? It doesn't work for me, so I don't see why to keep doing it. I don't want them yelling at me, so I'm not going to yell at them. I love you. Thank you for spending time with me today. I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.